but I'm really proud of the way they played, how hard they played. Since I've been here, I don't think we played Iowa like that. And again, there's no moral victories. I mean, who cares? But I care. I care with my football team that how hard they play, how hard they coached. Both teams had incredible plays, and it came down to the wire, and anybody could have won that football game. And in November, when you're playing teams like that, especially rivalry games, and anybody can win, that's what it's all about. We just couldn't get it done tonight. But again, all the credit goes to Iowa and Coach Ferentz and his team. They did a really good job.
7 field goals, did that turn out to be the difference?
It could have been. I mean, we look back on it, right? I mean, same thing, Randy, as we always talk. If you always want touchdowns, make sure I'm very clear on that. Everybody wants touchdowns, right? Everybody. I mean, if you would never kick a field goal, that'd be great. You know, score touchdowns all the time. But if you don't, you do everything you can, right, to gain as many points as you can to get to the fourth quarter and see where you're at. You never know how it's going to go. You never know how it's going to end up. That's part of playing the game and making decisions. You go for it on fourth down, then why didn't you kick a field goal? Right? Just get points. So you constantly play that back and forth. But I was really proud of Matthew Trickett's response today. I thought he had a great day kicking. We put Dragon in there for the long one, anything pretty much over 50. Dragon's got a big leg. We haven't had opportunities for him to be able to do that, but he's done it in practice. Felt really good about him doing it and gave him an opportunity. Obviously got blocked, we had the wind at our back a little bit. It wasn't much, it was swirling, so we felt like we had a little bit there. But we felt like he had the biggest leg to be able to give us the best chance for that to happen, and they did a good job of blocking it. But you always want touchdowns more than field goals, of course.
How were you able to do to run the ball so well against them?
Well, I mean, I give our coaches a lot of credit. I mean, they work really hard at finding new ways and within our scheme to run the football, especially against a really good front seven like Iowa. I mean, this is one of the best front sevens in college football. I should say front 11. They get everybody involved in it. Everybody has responsibilities. Everybody on their team's got to tackle like a linebacker. A lot of them have to be able to cover like safeties and corners. And then but that front seven is really tough. We felt like, especially with Bucko, getting a lot of carries, we needed him to get on the edge. We wanted to get them in space the best we possibly could and really spread the field out a little bit more. And then Kai did a really good job in between the tackles. Those two freshmen are really good players, and they're going to be really good players in the future. But if you're a really good player now, be really good now, and they are. We just felt like we could do some things on the perimeter, to help ourselves, and I thought we did that.
BJ, you talked about wanting 7 over 3. You had 2nd and 3 with 58 seconds left in a timeout at their 16. You ran it twice. Why not take a shot to the end zone at that point?
Well, it's all big. Here's the thing. These aren't just shots at the end zone. Coverage has to present itself, right? The 2nd and 3, we should be able to easily go get, 3 yards in running the ball. That's what I'm talking about. That has nothing to do with taking a shot at the end zone. You get sacked and you're out of field goal range, right? Like I said before, we're playing for points. We're going to go up at halftime, 13-10, and we did. We're up at halftime, okay? And that's what we wanted to be able to do. It wasn't like we didn't pop a run. We would go for it, and on first down and take a shot at the end zone. The 2nd and 3 did not seem like the opportunity at that particular time to get ourselves out of field goal range, but running the football I felt really good about. We just didn't execute the 2 plays.
How would you evaluate Tanner in the passing offense today?
I thought it was hit and miss. I mean, I thought he threw some really good balls, but we had some drops. I thought we had some okay balls that, never made it to us. But then we had some big throws, late in the game. So, you'd like to be able to see more completions, that's for sure, but too many drops. In my opinion, from what I got to go back and watch the game, watch the film, and then you see where the ball's thrown a lot, right? You don't necessarily see where it should have been thrown, right? And go back to the film and go through the reads and progressions and things like that. You can do everything you can from the sideline and diagnose it and go through it, on the sideline with the coaches. But
did you see the 2-point conversion pass open without getting tipped?
Yeah, they did a good job with Sam D. They brought their Sam blitzer. And again, that's fine. I mean, Tanner has an option to go outside of that or get rid of it before that or cut inside of that, but made a really good decision. It's just, got tipped, he made a really good play. Yeah, I mean, it's a good play call. I mean, it seemed like we have it, and he's got to have to catch it and then fight for the pylon. But those are 2-point plays. I mean, usually that's what happens.
PJ, when you look big picture, what's it going to take to get over the hump against Iowa?
A better performance than what we just played. I thought we played really good football. For I guess a top 15 team. for the majority of the game. And they want some plays back. We want some plays back. But it came down to the final possession in a top 15 rivalry game. Right, almost a shot at the end zone to go win it. That's came down to the very end. And I don't know if you were in here when I said it before. We haven't played Iowa like that. So again, it's the next. It's so frustrating to say it, but it's the next step, right? We got closer, right? And you got to get closer before you can get over it. And this isn't about adding up the years of the past, about taking one game championship seasons. And unfortunately, we have not been able to beat Iowa yet. And that's a credit to them.
I feel like there were some missed opportunities with dropped interceptions that really could have turned the game.
I mean, yeah, you do. You got to catch the ones they throw us. You're not going to get many of them. And when they do throw it to you, you got to catch it. But, I mean, there's also some really good plays out there, too, that we get a strip fumble and, we get off the field. I mean, an interception is going to be way better than a punt. But, yeah, you got to be able to make those plays. You want our guys to be able to make those plays, I should say.
Seemed like the offensive game plan was getting Iowa moving east and west. What did you and the offensive staff like about moving them that way?
Yeah, we wanted to get them in space a little bit more. I mean, someone asked a question earlier, just, about, their front seven is one of the best in college football. And I said, really, it's the front 11 because they're all involved in the run game somehow, some way. And they can all be involved in the pass game really well. But when you're talking about, running in between the tackles, they're long, they're strong, and they're Iowa, right? And we felt like we could get him in space on the outside of the perimeter, especially with Bucky, the way he plays and what he gives us gives a little bit different of a dynamic runner. And getting that ball stretched outside was a key to our offense this week. And I thought, Mike and Matt called a really good game that way. We just didn't make enough plays.
Speaking of good calls, what did you like about the Cole Kramer to Coe wide dump there?
Yeah, I mean, they went cover zero. We knew that, so they brought everybody up in the box, and the free safety was down there 4 yards, and we knew we were going to have cover zero in that type of wildcat formation. They showed that on film, and I thought Coe did a really good job of doing his responsibility and catching the football. It was a tremendous throw. I mean, caught him in stride. And, Coe being from Iowa, I mean, that was a big play for him. I'm sure he'll remember that all his life, but we would have loved to get him big. I know that, but we have to wait for a chance for another year.
Did you get a look at the non-targeting call on Tanner?
Yeah, I'm not going to get any officiating stuff. I mean, it's really doesn't do any good actually. Sure. But I mean, I got to look at it and whether my view is targeting or not. With the crown of the helmet towards the helmet, face mask, upper area. I mean, we have a lot of those meetings in Arizona and talk about those things. But whenever they called and saw it, slowed it down. I mean, the officials have the safety of all the players, forefront of all their minds. So if they didn't think it was targeting, it's not targeting.
Some of the timing throws with Tanner today was a little bit errant. What do you think was the issue there?
What do you mean some of the timing throws?
Like the 3rd and 7, I think Ottenbell ran it out. He was there, missed him high.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I mean, it's a field throw to an out, and I think he was a little early on it. So your timing question is accurate on that. But again, every ball's an elite ball we talk about. If it's in our catch radius, we got to find a way to be able to get it. And we had a few today that we weren't able to get that I thought we could have gotten. Catch radius is the quarterback's best friend. They're always going to be hitting you in the chest. Especially some of the people we play. Especially up front, there's going to be people in your face a lot. But I think that was a big play in the game. That was a huge play in the game. Because then we punt, then they take the next play, and Jones catches the 80, 75-yard touchdown, whatever it was. That was a critical, pivotal point in the game. Now again, no play wins you a game, no play loses you a game, but that was a pivotal play.
What'd you say to the team?
I just told them, first of all, they're not going to hang their heads, they're not going to pout. We got 2 games left, and listen, we don't control our own destiny anymore. However, if this team stumbles and you went out, you got a chance. And that's what's going to be our focus. 1-game championship season against Indiana. I told them I'm very, very proud of how hard they played. And their heart and their spirit, there is no moral victories whatsoever. But as a head football coach, after that type of an emotional game, down to the wire against one of your biggest rivals, in that atmosphere, they played their tails off. They gave us everything they possibly had. I mean, you're never going to get a perfect game, but they played really hard. All the questions you have, those are very good questions. And those are what we have to be able to fix and get better at. And, I mean, whether we won or lost this game, you'd have the same questions. So we just have to continue to dissect that, win or lose, and learn from the lessons that we have.
One or two more for coach?
How do you assess your offensive line's play today?
I thought they responded really well. Coming off last week's performance, where I didn't think we were, I thought that was the first time all year we got out physical, and I thought the response was tremendous. I really do. And it's a really veteran group. They understand what they need to be able to do, and we've had we had 5 tailbacks out, and we're on our 2 freshmen, but those guys are running their tail ends off too. They're very good football players, and I hope everybody sees where we're recruiting and how we're recruiting and the depth we have. You get your 5 scholarship tailbacks out, and you're down to your final 2, and they're freshmen, and they're playing like that. I mean, Kai Thomas again is 126 yards. Bucky's got 80, and just against that defense, it just shows where we're headed. Again, maybe not as fast as everybody sits there and expects, but this is a really good football game. You were at the radio show. I kind of made a joke earlier about Mark Rosen saying it wasn't very entertaining last week, and this was, I'm sure, very entertaining for everybody. But we would love to be on the winning side, and Iowa deserves all the credit. They made more plays than we did.
We have one more.
40 minutes time of possession, you win the turnover battle, and yet here we are. I mean, what has to change for that? I mean, that recipe's been so successful. Why wasn't it today?
Well, that's why it's not 100%, 78%. And it's not always guaranteed. And it came down to the final play. So that's what you have to continue to do. And there's going to be games that you win, and most of the time you're going to win. But it's games like today where you don't, that you feel like you had it, and you just weren't able to make enough plays to get it done. And there's too many pivotal moments in that game. And if we would have won this game, there's plenty of pivotal moments that I would say that was a pivotal moment for us. But there were multiple pivotal moments back and forth. So when you look at the 78%, that's why it's not, the tackling, the explosive plays, and the ball. I think the explosive plays, I think we lost that. So, I mean, we weren't 100% in the 78%, which if you win that, maybe we get a few more explosive plays, we win the game. But that's why it's not 100%. It was a close game, and it's just disappointing going home without Floyd again. But we'll find a way to be able to learn from this, and then go play Indiana next week.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
Thanks everybody for making the trip out here. For the Sky Go Gophers fans.
Our student athletes will have Tanner Morgan, Chris Hopman-Bell, Jack Tibbins, Mariano Soares, and just I might not do them all here. We might just throw them around the room.
Okay.